Hello everyone, this is Rick Mantei, and what I'd like to cover today is Handel and Handel's Messiah. Now, I started listening to that when I was a little boy, and I loved it, and I still do. My house every year is just all the intercom system I have, and I have the music playing, and I have Handel's Messiah playing. It's phenomenal. It's inspirational. It's a great piece. Of course, I'm just a hog looking at a wristwatch. I don't understand all the movements and all the things that are in it. From what I understand, it's brilliant the way he did this. So he started performing it in 1741, and then it took off from there, which I'll cover here in a minute. But one of the things that when I was preparing for this that I didn't know is that his dad disliked music and forbid little George from learning, but somehow he drank in the wonders of music. His aunt smuggled a silent keyboard into the attic, and so he learned in secret. Then on an outing, the 7-year-old went to his father, who was a barber, to visit a client. He saw an organ at the Duke's residence and sat down and played it. The mesmerized Duke insisted that the father give the boy lessons. This changed his life forever. He had a really good friend, a guy named Charles Jennens, a landowner and a patron of the arts. He wrote a theologically curated collection of scriptures taken from the King James Bible and the Great Bible from 1539, inviting Handel to compose the music for it. They had already collaborated on other pieces, and so he thought that this would do well. Well, guess what? It changed the world, because there's probably nothing else that's played more in the world than Handel's Messiah everywhere. He picked up the project and wrote at a feverish pace, writing 100 pages of 260 in just 6 days. Now, the only people that could do something like that is a genius. Normal people, there's no way they could do that. That was an extraordinary feat, even at the time. His writing at that pace wasn't unusual, but he was certainly inspired by his writing of this great piece while composing in tears. He had a vision, saying to his servant, "I did think I saw all heaven before me, and the great God himself seated on his throne with his company of angels." I heard a piece from Paul Harvey years ago where it said that Handel really didn't want to write this thing. He wasn't that religious a guy at the time. But he went ahead and he wrote it. And they said that when it was all said and done, it changed his life. He became one of the most religious guys around. Just the piece itself, writing it, making him closer to God. The way this thing is written, it's 3 parts. The first part is the beginning of Jesus's life. And the second part is all his ministry and all the things he did. And the third part is the resurrection. And that's where the piece is brought up into the different thirds. Of course, what everybody remembers is the last part, which you hear in church and where you hear on the radio and whatnot, is that part. But when this thing first came out, it wasn't that well received. The reason it wasn't is because here's a piece with Bible verses and Bible connotations in, and people at that time thought it was making fun of the Bible, it was making fun of God, it was making fun of Jesus, which it wasn't. But that's the way they interpreted it, so they didn't show up for the performances. They didn't have much to do with it. But then one thing happened about 7 years after he came out with that piece that changed everything. He held a benefit performance for the Founding Hospital, the world's first ever incorporated charity, which was set up to take in abandoned children. It had been celebrated by members of high society in London and a tourist attraction, but it needed funds for its new chapel. Well, guess what? He played in the hospital. He played Handel's Messiah in the hospital. And people that otherwise wouldn't have gone, but they did for the charity for the children, they went and they went crazy. They went crazy. So it says that by him doing that, he saved over 25,000 children by his writing and by putting on these performances before he died. So this has been going on now for 300 years, over 300 years. So when Christmas comes this year, you guys enjoy Handel's Messiah, and now you know a little bit more about the man and about the piece. Till next time, have a Merry Christmas.